Hey there, Improv Tipsters. Paul Vaillancourt here. I am back with another What Were You Thinking video. And my guest today is none other than Nick Armstrong. Now, you may remember Nick from this tip, ding ding, or this tip, ding ding, but he's also done a ton of other things, not just improv tips. The kid's out, he's doing all kinds of stuff. He is the current artistic director of the West Side Comedy Theater and the new co-owner of the Voodoo Comedy Theater in Denver. The rest of his illustrious bio and background information, etc., is all in those initial 2 tips, and also ding ding down below in the description. So if you want to know more about Nick or how to get in touch with him, you can do that, find that out down below or in either of those 2 tips. Ding ding. I think that's about it. I don't want to sort of waste a bunch of time. We had a really fun time doing this scene. Nick is super fun to play with. I had a ton of fun talking to him about the scene, and there's a lot of really great nuggets that I got from him. It was really fun, really interesting, and I think I got a lot out of it, and I hope you will too. So, without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy me and Nick Armstrong. Okay, so now we're going to do a scene, and then we'll play it back, and we'll say what we were thinking during the scene. Okay? Our suggestion for the scene is fossil. Fossil.
Thank you for coming out, Reginald.
Well, thanks for having me, Pops.
I was a great archaeologist once. Now I feel like I'm part of the dig.
Well, you can have some... Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's the dust. It's the dust. It's the dust. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You are going to be a fossil, but don't worry. I'll dig you up, and I'll make you. I'll make you proud.
Good. Good, my time here is nearly done. The university's told me they have no more use for me. They're putting me out to pasture, as it were.
Well, why do you think it's such a bad thing?
I have nothing in my life but archaeology.
Well, now you can go on to the next great adventure, discovering yourself.
Oh, me. Just an old man that likes coffee, and my closest friend is a dinosaur bone. And you.
Oh, I was going to say I was really hurt.
No, and you, Reginald, of course. But...
Remember when you found me? I was just a scrappy kid.
Yes.
Underneath the dirt myself.
Yes, I found you homeless, living in a trash heap.
Yeah.
It's like I uncovered you.
You literally uncovered me. I was covered in trash head to toe. And I don't know, you were in a state. You unburied me in there. Am I your greatest dig?
I'm sure you are. You've propelled me in my career much farther than any bone has ever done. You've kept me alive. You've made me dinner and lunch, and I saw you bought a little sack there.
Did. Can I ask you something?
Of course, Reginald, of course.
Can you be my archaeologist?
What?
Like, can you be like my dad?
Reginald, I would be delighted.
All right. You can have some of my sandwich.
Oh, look, tuna salad again. You are as predictable as the Australopithecus. This is delicious.
It is delicious. Oh.
What's that? You've done it. That's where you were digging. That's what we've been looking for all along.
Oh my gosh. That's the
I am going to take that bone and name it after you.
No way.
Yes, way. That's what the kids say, right? Yes, way.
Yes way, they do. That's amazing. Because one time I named a star after myself, but I had to pay for it. And then I named it, and I have a certificate that says, but like I don't remember which one it is, because there's like a billion.
Oh, so many stars.
So many stars. This is amazing.
Yes.
So
This and you bound together as my legacy moving forward. Now the university will never be able to get rid of me.
So, can I ask you a serious question?
Of course.
If you die, I'm sorry, but if you die, like, how do you want to be buried? Like, just in the desert where someone can find you? Or do you want to be, like, cremated?
I think bury me in a hidden location Write 3 different maps that lead to different places.
Oh.
It'll be a grand adventure for someone to find my corpse, dig me up. Yes, the archaeologist has become archaeology.
All right.
Those are my wishes.
That is a deal.
Yes.
That is a deal.
Thank you, Reggie. You're welcome.
Okay, now we're gonna watch the scene back and say what we were thinking.
What we were thinking.
So right out of the gate, the suggestion, I've been asking everyone this lately, the suggestion is fossil. When you hear the suggestion, what is your first impulse off the suggestion usually?
Well, usually I try to go emotional with it,
Oh,
so I wanted to attach myself to the object that I felt, and then you, I believe, came in and made it about us, which I thought was great. But generally, like I always say, a suggestion is treated as an adjective. You treat every word in the world like an adjective.
Oh, that's really
It
interesting.
affects you. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter if it's a noun or whatever. If it's an adjective.
I think that's a really great tip.
Yeah.
Like to treat every word like it's an adjective.
Yes,
That's great.
because then it makes you feel something rather than having to go to your.
That is a great tip. I'm gonna make a meme out of that.
Okay.
That's really great.
Make a meme.
It's so, 'cause I think it's so
I'm a
simple.
meme.
It's so simple, and you can say it in one line, and you just totally get it.
Yeah.
And really, I think that's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's such a great idea because I think a lot of times we think of like. In this case, we happen to do sort of something that's really close to the suggestion of fossils or paleontologists and this sort of thing. But I think sometimes people get really hung up on that, and making it sort of that sort of adjective, I think, really makes a difference.
Well, and I love dinosaurs and stuff too, so I was emotionally already attached to that. So like that was kind of an easy pull for me. And that's I think why I made the choice to go straight to that.
Yeah.
Was to connect myself to that.
Yeah, I think in a way I kind of did that where I thought fossil, like fossily, so I was an old man.
I love that choice. That I could totally see that as an improviser, the choice you made, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then I was like, maybe I should have like just gone to Paul first rather than.
No, I like that a lot because I'll be honest, like at the very beginning there, I sort of danced on the edge for a second of like, should it just be gardening? Like, and just like whatever, because like, could we pull back from it? But I was like, well, let's like lean into the suggestion a little bit.
It's also an interesting suggestion.
I think so.
Like, it's not just like Starbucks, you know, that's an actually fossil is such an interesting.
Right, it gave us a really specific world to operate in. Yeah, so I sort of felt the same way. I was like, well, I'm going to lean into this thing a little bit more. Because for a second I thought, well, maybe you're just my grandson or whatever. But I think I'm glad that we leaned into it because it was a really specific world.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go. So ramping up here. Okay, so now we're going to do a scene, and then we'll play it back, and we'll say what we're thinking. Okay. Our suggestion for the scene is fossil.
Yes.
Fossil. Great.
See, right away I felt something.
Yeah, and you sort of go right into the action, which I rather like. So I think this is really interesting. A lot of people, and I'm one of these people too, is a lot of times I'll take the suggestion and it'll make me think of a location or an activity, sort of ground.
Yeah, you definitely taught me that. I think it's.
I just get a lot of it. That would be super fun. But I like that because I was thinking old man, so I sort of had that physicality, and then you had that action, and then I think we've really got a lot of the real basic building blocks of the scene happening.
Yeah, and then when you come in, like it immediately grounded it for me and goes, oh, okay. I know, like just by you playing that character, coming out with that voice, and that thing, I was like, I got it.
Great. Oh, great.
So that was
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, I think sort of you sort of read that stuff off your partner sometimes, like in different ones. In the one with Lauren Pritchard, which I'll link, and also the one with Chris Tallman, which I'll link. There's like these first moments where someone makes a physical choice, and their partner reads so much off it. It's like even though it's tiny, it means so much because you're listening in that greedy sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you for coming out, Reginald.
Well, thanks for having me, Pops.
I was a great archaeologist once. Now I feel like I'm part of the dig.
Just an honest laugh to me because I thought it was such a great choice. But like I can use it as a character. Obviously, it might not look like that, but that was an honest laugh. I was like, oh, what a great choice.
Which
I like to do, like King 10's. Like we love laughing at each other's choices.
I think that's one of the trademarks of King 10 is that you guys are having so much fun, but in a way that is really not restrained, but under control. Like you never let it totally off the reins, and you're not having more fun than the audience. Which I think is great. Yeah. Really fun. Yeah, and so now we're sort of like setting up like, the way that you say, oh, thanks for having me. Okay, that sort of puts me a little bit high above you.
Yeah,
and sort of we're setting the status is starting to come into folk. I'm old, you're young.
Yeah.
All these basic.
We got the status there, and like right when you do, like we don't have this. The thing that's great about this moment is you don't have to say anything. You're just being that, and I'm like, we get it.
Yeah.
Because you made the choice of doing that. And it's like, oh, I know exactly who you, that is. An assumption improv is like, well, I'm assuming he's like what you said, assuming all this stuff. So now we can just start making decisions.
Exactly. And yeah, and I think that's a really great one. This is something that Dell used to say that I don't think I've ever done a tip about, which I will. But it make assumptions about that other person and act as though it's true until it's revealed to not be.
Exactly.
If you suddenly say mom or whatever, then oh great, I'm your old mom or whatever. But having that sort of assumption, I think, gives us a direction, and we proceed in that direction or with that information until we learn some new information.
And we get some discoveries in there.
For sure, 100%.
Well, you can ask. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's the dust. It's the dust. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
You are going to be a fossil, but don't worry. I'll dig you up, and I'll make you proud.
Good. Good, my time here is nearly done. The university's told me they have no more use.
Great, so it's sort of like, at this point when you were saying, well, I'll dig you up, I'll make you, whatever, I was like, okay, great. And I was thinking, well, how can I add some more stakes to this scene, which sort of relates to your improv tip that you just did, which I'll link. It's sort of, I thought of like adding stakes to the scene of like, oh, this is what makes this day special, sort of. This is like maybe our last
day when, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is like my last time, like, look, I'm on my way
That's
out.
great, yeah.
And sort of this is like, oh, I'm so fragile, I'm so delicate, or whatever, I'm on my way out. And that sort of puts the whole sort of status quo into dynamic now. Right? And so now we're sort of like, oh gosh, there's new information we have to deal with. It's kind of in our relationship.
Yeah.
It's kind of about the big situation.
Have we hit the triangle of the scene yet?
Sort of. We definitely have, what are we doing? We're definitely on a date.
That's what I want to know.
For sure. Yeah, I think we've hit aspects of it. Let's see.
Putting me out to pasture, as it were.
Well, why do you think that's such a bad thing?
I have nothing in my life but archaeology.
Well, now you can go on to the next great adventure, discovering yourself. So,
great, I love this because, go ahead.
Yeah, so in this case, like, you were going like, it's the end of me, and I wanted to try to go like, let's see the positive outcomes of that. So maybe we could progress the scene forward. I do love the emotional thing, but I wanted to see maybe how you dealt with like, this is going to be a great thing for you.
And I think that's really interesting. And what I love about that is that it's such an expansive choice, not only for this scene, but moving forward in the piece. I mean, Chris Alvarado talked a little bit about this in his What Were You Thinking video, but like, where does this sit in the scope of a bigger piece? Because now this guy's like, he's retiring, let's say, and then it's like, what is he going to do? Is he going to be like, oh, I'm water skiing? Or
that would be awesome. We should have done a montage. Like, it'll be great. It's like, oh, I'm on your shoulders.
Just trying to figure out like, what is his second chapter or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's such a great sort of expansive choice, which I really love. And that to me, so then I could like sort of lean into that, like, yeah, but I'm just sort of doubling down on what I've got. I'm like, oh, this is negative. So then I sort of go even further.
Yeah.
Why this is so negative? Because my life is empty. Because my best friend is a bone.
Which led me to our connection in a bit.
Yes, which I love that you sort of like kind of call that we sort of like both sort of call that moment out and sort of meet on that moment of like my best friend is a bone, and I'm like, oh, except for you. And
yeah,
like,
but
I kind of felt like, but I think that's great because what I love about that moment, I sort of was playing my part and sort of thinking about like what are you thinking of like of taking it personally. Like everything in the scene, you take it personally, and it really sort of adds up in this sort of way.
Old man that likes coffee, and my closest friend is a dinosaur bone. And you.
Oh, I was going to say I was really hurt.
No,
I felt like, I don't know if you read that off of me, but I kind of crumbled when you said that.
You know what the thing is, I didn't, because I was like sort of in my own world, but then I looked at you and I was like, oh, you, right?
Yeah, because you could see like I wince, I'm like, oh shit, he likes bones more than me.
Right.
And so that was a nice like emotional thing, which I think took me, my character now on a path of like, oh, he wasn't always there's something else there to be discovered.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was great. And what I love about your sort of reaction is acting is reacting.
Yeah.
And so that little sort of thing I'm saying, oh, my best friend's a dinosaur bone. A lot of people could just let that slide. But when you sort of like have a feeling about that or a reaction to that, I think that really amps up the relationship and as a consequence amps up the scene.
Yeah.
Which I rather love. I think it's always digging deeper, more stakes on that relationship. That's really interesting.
You know what I mean? I was just a scrappy kid.
Yes.
Underneath the dirt myself.
Yes, I found you homeless, living in a trash heap.
Yeah.
It's like I uncovered you.
You literally uncovered me. I was covered in trash head to toe. And I don't know,
Right, and I like this little bit here because it's like, it's doing one of those things, we're sort of discovering it piece by piece, like you, piece me, piece and back and forth, but it's doing one of those things where it's like, archaeology is our world, and so that's the lens, and we kind of see everything through that lens, and so it's like all of a kind, even though it's like, oh, I found you homeless or whatever, but like archaeology.
But you dug me up. Like I could see you in the alley, like, what is that? Like moving trash aside, and like I'm like, like we could have tagged in that scene or something.
For sure. But I think it's what I love about it is just sort of like we're not necessarily thinking about it consciously, but subconsciously in the back, that strong choice at the top of having the archaeology world, it sort of just flavors everything, and sort of it infuses everything as we move forward.
Paprika on the egg, you know.
Paprika.
Paul, would it be saying, like, is it the point of view of the scene, really, like that world of like that's the thing?
I think so, and I think sort of what I said in another video that I felt weird saying, but I'll say it again, is the milieu. It's the milieu of the scene. It's like, we're archaeologists, and so we sort of see things through that lens.
Yes.
And I think that makes the scene sort of snap together in a really tight way. So it's not about a million things, it's about like a couple things that braid together, you know? It's really fun. And I love that what I like about the scene is just like that little, like, you say a little bit of the thing and then I say a little bit of the thing. It's sort of like when I have a coffee cup and I put it down and then you move my coffee cup. Like, we both dealt with that thing, so it becomes more real.
Sure.
You know? I think that's really fun.
That's cool.
That story comes in focus.
You unburied me in there. Am I your greatest dig?
I'm sure you are. You've propelled me in my career much farther than any bone has ever done. You kept me alive. You made me dinner and lunch, and I saw you bought a little sack there.
So I love that. I love that part too. When you show that vulnerability, that like. It's like when someone's like, "Do you love me?"
Yeah, but in the voice of the world.
Right, in that milieu. I've said it twice now. I'm like,
say it one more time.
Once I say it, I can't stop saying it. But what I love about it is that, and then there's that, and now I'm sort of warming to you a little bit. But what I love about that little question though is that it really lights a fire in the relationship.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, now
we're really starting
getting down
to discover and get to the crux of what
this is the day for me. This is the day where we jump past jump over our professional distance and really kind of admit our feelings for each other.
Yeah, this is the day when you become my father, basically.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Or that he's not going to. We're both. It seems like we're both lonely people and we need each other.
Yeah, for sure. And it's only when that sort of is called into question that sort of comes into focus.
Yes.
Yeah, that we risk losing each other. We find each other.
Yeah.
It's like a good drama.
It is. This is a very good dramatic scene.
And then we're talking about lunches and dinners you cook for me and all this stuff. And then I just sort of like said the sack over there because I wanted to sort of ground it. I felt like we were talking a ton. I wanted to ground us back into the location is what I mean.
Yeah.
And then
I make it a lunch sack.
That's great. That's what I was thinking.
That's what I thought.
A brown paper bag.
That's exactly what I picked up.
That's exactly what I thought too.
Dude, it's a big. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Can you be my archaeologist?
What?
Like, can you be like my dad?
Reginald, I would be delighted.
Alright. You can have some of my stuff.
Oh, look, tuna salad again. You are as predictable as the Australopithecus.
That's like the only dinosaur thing I could think of. Say it,
I was trying to think of those too, but like, I like this because so we get to this point where we actually label it. I want you to be my father, so maybe we can see. Because I feel like with an improviser like you, like in maybe a normal scene we have to like kind of, but I feel like with someone like you and what you're offering, like we can keep moving and see where it goes. Okay, we dealt with this, now we're this, now what is that?
For sure, it's like it's different chapters of the scene.
Yes.
Sort of. And I definitely think, in a weird way, I think that could be the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, to the salad again. And I thought that, and it flashed across my mind. I'm like, we're having fun. I just want to see a little bit more of
Let's
like
see
what happens next. But I definitely think that there's a 90% chance that scene gets edited on that line.
Sure.
Because you say it, and it's super clear, and then we have like a little bit of a tuna salad, and then we're out. But since no one's editing us, I'm interested to sort of keep exploring. Sort of like yourself.
I love that. And look, even when you're doing an improv show, someone doesn't call the lights on, you got to keep going.
Oh, 100%.
Or call them yourself,
For
which
sure.
is weird.
Thank you very much.
That's
what
what
It is delicious.
Oh.
What's that?
So, you kind of taught, I think you taught me this or something, but like, when there's something like, because we dealt with the dad thing, and it's like, go back to the beginning of the scene, which was like, the bones.
Like
whatever
the end is in the beginning.
The end is in the beginning. So like, that was like, oh shoot, let's go back to this and see if we can like, how that brings, if it brings it around.
Right, I thought that was a great choice. I was sort of on to the next thing, whatever, and when you brought it back to the bone, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Lauren talks about that in her What Were You Thinking video, and also Todd Stashwick does a great improv tip called Footprints in the Snow, where you sort of like look back, you see all the footprints you left, and you sort of follow your way back.
Follow your way back. That's
I think this is great. We sort of, again, in the milieu, boom, tip. In the milieu of this scene, I think this is it. And we sort of circle back around to, this is sort of like the central question, like, are we gonna find a bone? Ooh, my dad lent me the keys to go out tonight. We sort of come back to this.
It was
again.
important at the beginning, so I guess I
thought that was great.
Yeah.
I think that lends a really sharp closure to the scene, and also gives us really the next stand.
These guys need a win. These guys just need a win. They're so lonely. They need to find them.
And it leads to the next little stanza of the scene here.
That's what we've been looking for all along.
I'm still.
Me too. I'm working on my sandwich.
I'm going to take that book. No way. Yes. Yes. Way. That's what the kids say, right? Yes. Way.
Yeah. So now we have this. What I love about this, or what I try to do in my work, and I'm consciously doing it here, is make this about you. And it's just like, it's sort of bing, bing, it reflects, and it's like, that thing always means something about our relationship. The sandwiches, that means something about our relationship. We reverse engineered it where I said it and then we showed it, but in this one we show it and then we say it, and that really links us together. I think that's really, for me, because I really believe that the relationship is the centerpiece of the scene, we sort of keep coming back to that idea, focusing through that lens.
Yep.
Great, and again, I think you do such a great job of like, that means something to you.
Yeah, you got to be effective.
A great reaction. But I think that really, that's really great. I think a lot of times scenes fall apart because people aren't reacting. Sure. They're just thinking about their next thing to say. And so I think your reaction really sells it, because it's like a cause without an effect. It's not.
Well, again, even we talk about suggestions, but I also treat anything you say as an adjective, or like something that affects you. Like, because it makes it easy for me to be affected by everything, like nerve endings out, you're touching them, it's like, I'm being reacted. And I do that a lot with my body. Like, just like, it can be subtle or it can be big, but like, that's kind of...
physically react to emotional things. That's great. So you like outwardly... Yes. Great. Oh, that's great. I think that's a great tip.
That's amazing. Because one time I named a star after myself, but I had to pay for it. And then I named it, and I have a certificate that says, but like I don't remember which one it is, because there's like a billion. Oh, so many stars. This is amazing.
Yes. This little sad story in that too.
It is, because you can also tell he's been frauded probably by other fathers.
Right.
Like, there's a little weird, like, that's why I was like, well, let me give an instant of history of how I've been effed over as well, because you're the actual real deal.
For sure, and I think that's a really great little moment there. And I've said this in other videos too. Is like, sometimes there's a time in a scene where you give out a little bit of your philosophy or your history. Like, here's how I think the world works, or here's what happened to me that infuses this with a little more energy or tension and whatever. I think that was really great.
I was hoping for like the audience, they'd be like, oh, this is another part of him. What else has he bought or done down the line?
Sure.
So it validates our relationship.
That's great. And it's also a great expansive choice, because it opens up the possibilities. Like, we see A, then then we could see, without saying A, B, and C in this scene, we could see those. We could tag out to
Yes,
those
of course.
You could see I bought this car because this guy,
yeah,
whatever.
totally. I mean, that's just like you keep setting that up. You can tag in, do that.
Yeah, it's such a nice, expansive choice. It infuses your character and also opens up the possibilities for the future. It's really great.
You bound together as my legacy moving forward. Now the university will never be able to get rid of me.
So, can I ask you a serious question?
It's great. I think that could be another ending of the scene right there.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're just like, I don't know, I'm just really having fun. I don't feel like we've been playing that long, and so I'm interested. I'm just sort of letting it roll and so, see. And I like that you sort of, this next little stanza of the scene.
I keep like when I play, I mostly play with King 10 nowadays, so that's where a lot of my reactions and things come from. So like, we are all about setting up worlds because we know it's going to be attacked really fast. So when you see setups like that or things like that, it's like trying to be like, here's the world, this is said, and then like we come back to that.
Yes.
So this is almost like that, except we're not getting the tags, and then we're coming back to a moment here. Like, can I ask you something serious?
Yeah.
So like, I don't
great.
know.
Yeah. So we sort of project out for a second, and we sort of come back.
Now we have to come back
into the moment.
the focus.
Great.
In the moment.
So what you're talking about there, like attack. On the way here today, I was thinking about one of the few times I played with King 10, where it's like you and me and Crowley and Josh Nichols. When we did like that time machine thing.
Oh yeah.
And there was like, but that to me was like King 10, like to the max of like, we were setting up worlds in like the 80s, the 90s, like so quick, but just like, I thought that you guys all did such a great job, like, because all I was doing was like, it's the 50s, and you guys went attack, it's the 60s, attack, but I love that about King 10 and about your work especially. I think that sense of attack is so interesting.
If you die, I'm sorry, but if you die, like, how do you want to be buried? Like just in the desert where someone can find you, or do you want to be like cremated?
Great. So you asked this really provocative question again within sort of the world of this scene of like how do you want to be buried, like a bone, or and I think that sets up so much. And then I get to say my crazy thing about a treasure hunt, which is again I'm trying to just open up like possibilities for the future that the audience like, oh, are we gonna see that treasure hunt?
Yeah. At the end of the show, if we had like is you getting unburied somewhere in the desert, like I can see the rest of the show. Like I see you being buried in the future. Someone's like, oh, what the hell's this?
Right. Or even if it's like another scene, like a couple out for a camping trip. They're trying to. How come I can't get? Oh my God, what is this?
A tuna sandwich.
Right, exactly. But it's like, again, just throwing out those strings. I think it's always better to leave the piece with all these untied strings than tie up too much. You know?
100%.
Really fun. When I think about it, I'm thinking about Indiana Jones.
In a hidden location, write 3 different maps that lead to different places.
Oh.
It'll be a grand adventure for someone to find my corpse, dig me up. Yes, the archaeologist has become archaeology. All right, those are my wishes.
And I think sort of in a weird way, this sort of winds back around to the beginning as well. What I like about the scene is because it goes so many chapters, it really cycles through the beginning again, where the archaeologist becomes archaeology.
Yes.
It's like cycles and cycles and cycles. Man, that was so fun. Such a fun scene, Nick. Anything else you want to add about it?
No, that was really fun. I love the discovery of it. I don't think there was anything forced as far as invention, and that's truly what I love. And when you say like the no strings, just like throwing it out, that is like the scariest thing in the world for people, but also the best thing you can do.
For sure.
Because especially if you have partners you trust, they're gonna find the end of those strings, and they're gonna be
there's
a bow for you.
And they're going to tie up in ways, especially if you're doing a herald, string from A can tie to a string from B.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think sometimes people want to sort of like, they want to control it all. And they want to have it all happens in this one scene.
Yes.
And that's it. But it's like, you're really building a world. It's like you said, world building rather than story building.
It's world building.
I think that's a real big distinction that I would talk about all the time when I was teaching the herald, is the difference between story building and world building is a much more expansive process.
Which again you must have taught me, because that's where it had to have come from.
And now that we brought it back to me, I think we're
this is our actual scene.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It was so.
I was gonna shake your hand.
I'll shake your hand. Because I was like looking back. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Nick Armstrong, for coming and playing with me again. It was really, really fun, and it was such a fun scene. Please tune in next time. We'll have more What Were You Thinking videos and more improv tips. Hey friends, thanks for checking out the video, and if you want to hear a little bit more, check out one of these 2 quality videos. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and follow us on social media. All the links are in the description down below, and let me know what you would like to see an improv tip about. Thanks for watching.